Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Does your day move faster than you can keep up? With new Gatorade Lower Sugar, my family and I can stay at the top of our game. No artificial flavors, sweeteners, or colors. 75% less sugar, and all the electrolytes of regular Gatorade. Now available nationwide.
Hello, and welcome back to the Psycholegal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And today we are back with Sister Wives, Season 19, Episode 27. This is One-on-One, Part 2.
Yes.
Deep sigh. Deep sigh. God, I can't believe these women live with Kody this long, because 45 minutes later, I'm like, I don't want to hear from this man for a while.
I know.
Oh,
and
God.
supposedly there's still 2 more tell-alls.
Yeah. We have 2 more of this guy.
It's like, what more is there to say? I mean, what's gonna be different?
I don't know. I mean, I still think it's interesting. It's juicy. I think so much of it it's less, I think the interesting, juicy parts are just seeing how everyone reacts to things versus in sort of what that says about them, much more than the content of what they're saying. So, So for this episode, we thought we would do this a little bit differently. Like, we're going to, instead of going back and forth, and then Robyn says this, and then Kody says this, and then talk about each individual person and sort of what they talked about and sort of their attitude and what was going on. So you want to start with Janelle, since she's kind of started off the episode, or do you want to start somewhere else?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Janelle is, she's so over it, and she so has Kody's number, and she's just very blunt. Christine too. Mm-hmm. But Janelle is really just very direct, blames Kody for the failure of the family because he basically just gave up during COVID, threw his hands up. She's not interested in being friends with him or Robyn. She said she would be friendly to him, but she is not interested in being friends with them. She doesn't like them.
Yeah.
She flat out said that. And she thinks that Kody is trying to make himself more villainous to take away some of the blame from Robyn.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I think Cody's just being Kody. I think that's how he is.
I think that maybe when it comes to his relationship with Janelle, maybe he does that. Or maybe he did that with the wives. I don't know. I don't know if it's taking the blame, but him managing sort of Robyn's perceptions and how people think about her and all of that. But Janelle, of anybody, I feel like, though Meri's getting close. I mean, Meri, I feel like we're seeing much more of a Meri that is loving life here than we ever saw before. But Janelle, to me, is the one who is the most, she's not on the fence with anything. The feelings are very over, I think that Janelle, when she's out, she's out. I think that she does not think of Robyn or Kody at all. I don't think she, has too many feelings about any of it. I think any feeling that she has about Kody is probably stemming from her kids in Garrison. But everything else, I think she's just like, she's happy. She's like, I don't need to be with this person. I think Christine still feels hurt and betrayed and stuck in that place. There's still parts of her, even though she has his number and has moved on. I still think that Christine's still processing some things, as is Meri. I think that Janelle, of anyone, is just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I don't care. Like, I'm here because you give me a paycheck.
Yeah. Well, and I think they get into this next week. At this point, they still have not sold Coyote Pass. And this is when they were having, this was the period where Kody was just, shutting Janelle down. Like, she was asking for information. He was ignoring her. And just being a real jerk about it. And I'm sure that's part of it, is that she's just like, I think she's lost all respect for him.
Yeah, well, and this is more about Kody, but they do play the scene from Josephine's, where they get into this whole thing with Janelle in that scene. And I'm sure we talked about it when it aired, but Janelle in that scene was being very vulnerable with him, was trying to explain to him, like, this is how I feel. I do not like, it felt like there were a different set of rules for Robyn, blah, blah, blah. And then he just cuts her off. And the best is he cuts her off and starts eating. Did you see that? He's like shoveling food into his mouth. And I think she was like, okay, fine. If you're not willing to listen to me, I'm not going to give you any more of my time or energy. But in that scene, it was interesting. And I don't know if I noticed that the first time, was that she was near tears. Like, that took a lot of vulnerability for her to say that about Robyn. And she was kind of tearing up a little, like, you could feel her voice breaking. And so that's what I think that I think Janelle is just so, oh, you're not going to meet me where I'm at? Nope, gone, out. Like, when that thing switches, it switches.
Well, and like at Josephine's, and then she says this again with Suki, it's like, you want me to be in this plural marriage with you, yet I cannot speak about how I feel about Robyn and how my children feel. I'm just not allowed. And he just shuts her down. I mean, that's ridiculous. And Janelle, to her credit, she just realizes that he's never gonna address Robyn with her. That Robyn is, like she said, his sacred cow, and you cannot.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that, because I have feelings about that too.
You cannot touch her. You cannot talk about her. So how is that going to work? It's not going to. So, okay.
Yeah. Well, she does bring up this whole thing. She was talking about Meri being so loyal, and then, talking about how, like, Meri was so loyal, and that the catfishing almost gave Kody an out to be justified in his anger and his behavior towards her. But she did point out that, and we've talked about this too, which is Robyn married a very different Kody. And Robyn married into a different situation than all of them. And that she wasn't around for the struggles. And I think that's the other thing with Janelle, is I think Janelle is able to say, this isn't the same man I married, and so I can leave him. I think Christine and Meri are much more, which is where I would be, which is in that place of, wait a second, you were there, now you're here. What happened? But I think that she very much can see it and does not live in the other side of it or contemplate it. I think she just kind of moves on. I wish I was more like her.
She also points out that this Kody, current Kody, is also that, he's never been this mean. Yeah. He's intentionally hurting people, trying to rewrite history, and just being flat out mean. And so that's not the Kody that she married either, know? No, good for her. I mean, and this must be hard, given what they've been through, but Janelle, like you said, when she's done, she's done.
Yeah. So that was mainly it. Bye-bye. Right? Do you have anything else for Janelle?
No, that was it. She basically made her points and got in and got out. But I loved when she said that she didn't like, she just doesn't like them.
Well, Sukanya was really hammering it, and she was trying. I think Janelle was trying to be kind,
right?
Which is like, yeah, I'll be friendly, I'll chat with them, or I'll do this, I'll do that. And then they kept talking about this, and I think finally she's like, listen, I'm not going to eat a goddamn meal with these. I'm not going to Josephine's with these two.
No,
and which is a completely, totally understandable thing. Which is not only is this someone that you don't even recognize anymore. The person that he's with, you've never really liked all that much.
Yeah, she did say I never really had a relationship with Robyn.
Yeah. So that's the other part of it too, is like, I don't like this person and I don't know this person. So why do I have to be friends with him? And this is, just a quick plug. We're also covering, and just like that, the third season. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out. And this is the same thing. It's women in their 50s, like, what maybe a different version of Janelle, maybe a younger version of Janelle would have been like, yeah, I would hang out with him. But I think this version is like, no, my time is valuable. Why in God's name am I going to eat or spend time with these people I don't like? Why do we need to do this? Let's just move on with our lives.
Exactly.
But this is what kills Kody. And that's why he calls her the Teflon queen, is his ego cannot handle that she doesn't have any feelings for him.
Right. She's exactly.
So, all right. Do you want to go to Meri or Christine?
Well, let's talk about Meri, because Meri and Kody are friends.
Yeah. Favorite ex-wife.
They want to be friends, apparently.
Yeah.
Although Meri's not, she's sort of humoring this, I think, idea, but she also seems pretty solid in her decision. Meri has really come a long way in the last, she has worthied up. I will give her that. She's come
lost
a long way.
Lot of weight too. I guess no one's talking about that or what's going on. It was interesting, like, to see her now. You're like, wow, that is a lot of weight. Did she get on the Ozempic, or?
Maybe just being happier.
Maybe.
Maybe just she's not holding on to, tension and whatever. I mean, could be a lot of different reasons, but she overall, just everything about her,
a lot lighter,
has changed. She's much lighter. She, can kind of laugh and joke about it, but she's very serious about that. What Kody did to her was wrong. And, and she wonders about Robyn, like what was Robyn ever really her friend? Did she ever really care about her? I mean, what was that all about? We could talk about Robyn next. Oh, that's a real strange. Real strange one.
One thing that she mentions is that she says, she was saying, Kody's spoken a lot about how mean I once was. And that, I think what she's alluding to was, it sounds like she went through a very dark time for a long time. It sounds like maybe from Vegas to the last couple of years, I don't know. She had been going through a lot, and I think she owns the fact that I wasn't really a happy person, or I wasn't mean to be around, but she says, I've been fun the last couple of years, and he has been unwilling to even see that. And so this whole thing with Kody of being kind of like this Mr. Forgiveness and light and love and all of this stuff moving on, it's like, no, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say about Meri. It's just,
well, I think Meri's gotten a bad rap.
Yes, maybe that's it.
She's gotten a bad rap. And so remember, when they moved to Vegas and Leon went to college, Meri was kind of just left alone. You know what I mean? Like she would say, no one comes to my house. She had to beg people to help her move. You know what I mean? Like everyone else kind of, I don't even know if it was intentional, but she just kind of wasn't part of the family like she used to be. And I think that obviously made her upset. And then she'd be in a bad mood, and then other people would be like, well, what's wrong with you? And, I don't, she had a hard time. And then you have Kody and Robyn stringing you along. And so anyway, finally she's free, and she seems to be happy, and she's doing things. And I don't know what else to say about Meri, but they made a big deal about that stupid scene.
Oh God, that scene, that whole thing. I cannot believe we are still talking about all this shit. So, Kody goes into this whole thing about Meri and I had such an antagonistic relationship, and then the catfishing happened, and I wasn't going to put up with her anger anymore. And it wasn't until we were moving that things, like basically that day, he says things got better. And that whole that clip of that day of moving, the way they all acted. Okay, so what? So you pushed up against someone, like, all right, who cares? Like, they're acting like the two of them banged in the back of that truck. Like, he accidentally fell into her vagina or something, like this happened. It's like, dear God, people.
Like, whoops. I know.
I mean, like, so what? You backed up into him. You felt a little something. It's like, dear God, you ever ride the subway? Ever been out in the world? Like, come on. This is that big of a deal?
Yeah. Never been in a crowd concert.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way these people are such dorks about this stuff.
Well, and then Nathan pushing the bike. I mean, all of it is just.
Oh, yeah.
It was really dumb. And then it turned into this thing about, oh, well, now that Kody is, I guess, a monogamist, to sing, and he's like, my body belongs to Robyn. He gets real serious about this, and well, that just wasn't right. That was whatever. And then when they ask Robyn about it, she's like, I didn't really care.
Yeah, because
she was so nonchalant. She's like, I hadn't really drawn those lines yet. I don't know. I didn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Which is a lie. That's just part of her new persona.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find the this other thing that I wanted to mention. But we do hear, and this is where Meri was really worthying up in this moment, where she says, Kody and I were talking recently, and Kody said, I'm grieving our marriage, the loss of our relationship. And she told him, no, you're not going to do that to me.
Yeah, don't lay that on me.
You're not going to take all your crapola and all your feelings and dump them on me. I'm not your wife anymore, and I'm not going to do it. And I loved what she said. She was like, you were very public about me. You said a lot of mean things about me. You said you didn't love me. You didn't any of this. And now you're telling me you're mourning this. It's like, I'm not saying you can't have those feelings, but don't tell me that you're grieving, And she says these are the mixed signals she got throughout their marriage. And I really do, in hearing Christine as well, it sounds like Kody, and I don't know when this happened, became a fuckboy. He became. Well, you know how fuckboys are, right? These guys that kind of come in and sell you one story and then kind of disappear. And then, they're lonely, or they want you again, and they kind of come back around. And then I'll say the things that you need to hear to be nice. And now I'm going to F around with you, or I'm going to promise to go to this event with you. And then you don't go, like fuckboy stuff. It's like, that's what it felt like to me. Like, it's just a bunch of fuckery. Like, just Christine called it lies and manipulation. I mean, she used those words, but Meri was a little different. But I think that what we really saw was something of Meri going, nah, you've been doing this to me for years.
Right.
You have been doing this to me for years. You're not going to do it anymore. And I'm like, good for you, Meri.
Yeah. No more hot and cold. And you come around when you feel like it. And, all of it. And that's the thing. Yeah. Kody does. I think he does this with all of these women.
Yes.
Just uses them as, he just fuckboys them. I mean, I don't know what he just,
yeah, like telling you fuckboy. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect word.
No, that is.
Okay. And I don't think I have anything else from Meri. We didn't really get much more. Wow. When you really break it down person by person, there isn't as much there.
Well, so much back. I don't know. So to me, it's so confusing because they go back and forth so fast between characters. And it's like, well, can't we just
stay on one topic, or
stay on one topic, stick with one thing? But okay, that whole scene, they show the scene where he's leaving Meri's house in Parowan, and he's sobbing and having his thing, which was also him laying all of his
Yes.
baggage on her.
Yes.
Once again.
And how fuckboy is it? Oh, Meri, if you acted like this during our marriage, I wouldn't be leaving you.
I would have
that
liked
is
you
the
more.
So when I don't have any worries, when I don't ask you for anything, when I have nothing, then that's when I'm appealing to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And and then Christine pipes in and she says that, he's responsible for the end of this.
Yes.
Because at the end of the era, and she's like, he picked favorites and that's what ended it. And that he just kept breaking Meri's heart over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And then Robyn's response is something weird. She has some dumb response and then she's like, okay.
Yeah.
She did that.
Yeah. Well, we can get into Robyn. You want to go to Christine now? Let's do Christine. Because it starts off with Christine saying, if 3 wives leave you, it's the guy.
Yeah, and obviously.
And she said, before we all left, it was broken and he blames us.
Mm-hmm.
And, listen, Christine is, as we know, plague royalty. And we know she really knows all of these things. And, this is, I believe this. This is sort of the attitude of the church. And quite frankly, yeah. If you have 4 marriages and 3 women leave you, I'm going to look at you. Yeah. Sorry. That's kind of how it is.
He's the common denominator.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and at the core, we always go back. I've talked about this a lot, which is, if Kody, I think, unfortunately, Kody's narcissism got him to this place that he was in today. Because it sounds like in order to be a good, husband in the, with multiple wives, that you have to be the kind of person who, you really have to have a lot of awareness and you have to be very mindful of things. And yes, you can't have favorites, but you can't be so needy. And all of that, right? And we see how needy Kody is and how plural marriage was never going to work for him long term. Even if he had never met Robyn, I don't think it was ever going to work for him long term. Because what it takes for you to make it successful, he can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. All right.
Yes. No, he's not cut out for this. But so they have David on. I find this interesting because David is on with Christine for most of the time. And David just fits right in.
Yeah. Everyone loves David.
He just really fits right in. And he's not trying to be in the spotlight. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
But he's fine with being there and contribute. Because, they're a couple. And he wants to support Christine. And I just think he fits right into the family. And they even, later when they're talking to Kody, even, Kody seems to be okay with him.
Yeah. Well, so Christine makes, I think, a very interesting comment about the whole Meri and Kody scene of bumping up against each other, where Christine says, Kody is defining himself now as being Robyn's husband. Like that's his new identity. And it is really true. I think, Kody has to feel special. He has to feel special in some way, shape, or form. So and I think this is one of the reasons why he blames people for polygamy. He blames the church. He blames his parents. He blames this, like that he was forced into it. It's like, no, your ego. You wanted to feel special. You wanted to be different. You wanted to do something that was not the norm, and you did it. And now all these women have left. And so now it's like, oh, because I'm now a monogamist. I'm a monogamist and I'm dedicated to this wife and I love her and our love is so deep. It's just, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, if he and Robyn do live plural marriage with other people, that would be fascinating because to see what happens there. But she has his number.
Yeah. Well, and then they talk about the time when David and Kody first meet. And it sounded like in typical Kody fashion, he was kind of, fuckboying around everybody. And, said he wasn't going to come. So no one's really prepared for him to be there. And then he says on the day of that he is going to come. And, but they don't know if Robyn's going to come. It just, made for.
Attention.
Right.
Not one of these people that's like, wow, I have to RSVP because they need to know how much food to get. But no, I'm going to fuck around. I'm going to go in circles about it until I'm ready to go.
Well, and also give people some mental time to prepare, because he said at that point he hadn't seen Christine in like 2 years. And I don't think he'd seen her really talk to Gwen in a long time either. And this is her engagement party. So, they talked about that. We can talk about that more, I guess, when we talk about Kody, or we could talk about it now.
Well, Christine's just pissed. I mean, she felt like it was rude. And she basically said, this is the kind of shit he pulled all the time. And what was it? Yeah. Oh, I'm reading some other things. She said some really interesting things. She did make a comment about why does Kody always have to have favorites? Like, why is Meri now the favorite ex-wife?
Right.
Why does there always have to be favorites? And then Christine was also pissed about Meri, and when Kody started sobbing to her, like she was pissed. It was rude, ignore her. And now you're being vulnerable. Like, I'm really embarrassed for him. She really doesn't like him. And that's why I believe she is more invested. Like, she does still have a lot of feelings about the Kody stuff more than Janelle does.
Oh, yeah. No, Janelle has let it go. Christine is very angry, and, probably will be for a while, I think. I mean, I guess she said at the beginning of the tell-alls that it's been 4 years.
Yeah, because she left in 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think maybe this is the first time she's really had the chance to really get this all out, because, she left and then she was focused on starting a new life, and then she met David, and then there've been all this stuff. And so now it seems like, now that everyone is gone, this is the first time she's had the chance to talk about all of this. Seems like, because she seems freshly angry.
Yes. And then there's this whole thing about, like, could they be friends? Would they want a double date? I don't know. Christine's just kind of like, I don't know about this. And here's the thing. She says, it's another version of kind of what Meri's saying, which is, you don't get to have it both ways. You're claiming, like, if everything that you said about me, you believe, then that means you don't really know who I am. And we were married for 26 years, but you're at the same time saying I'm a bad wife. I wasn't nice to Robyn. I was all these awful things. Well, that's not true. And I think that's maybe what she needs from him. She needs some kind of apology of, like, I'm sorry, those things aren't true, or you were a good wife, or we were, that's what she needs in order to have the double date. But she's like, not until then, she said, I gave it everything.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. She said she changed everything she did all the time, just desperately trying to make him happy. She's still quite angry. But there's a lot of talk about, while Christine is like talking about how angry she still is, Kody is kind of watching it, kind of smiling and smirking. And he says something like, David is fine. I just want Christine to be happy so she'll stop talking about me. So he's, again, bringing it back to himself. Yes. And then he says, it's like watching an old friend falling in love about Christine. I mean, he just says some wild stuff. Like, it's almost like he's like on some kind of drug trip, and he's just spitting out stuff. He starts saying, David's great. He's probably a decent person. I don't know anything about him. And
well, his phrasing too, we can go right into Kody now, because we'll talk about Kody and Robyn together because they're so entwined. But he says that comment about like, I have a dirty thought. And I'm like, ooh, a dirty thought. What would this be? Let me hear that. And the quote unquote dirty thought is David and I could go on a guy's trip. I just thought it was such a weird word to use. So you mean dirty like underhanded and manipulative.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And so you see going on a guy's trip with him to be this, quote unquote dirty thought. And it's so funny because David's like, yeah, sure, I'll go on a trip with him. Like David's just like, whatever.
David doesn't know that there's, because Kody then says, he says, then I thought, no, that would be so uncool to Christine. Mm-hmm. But that was your intention, was to be uncool to Christine.
Yeah.
Like, look, Christine, I'm going on a guy's trip with your guy. Like, you can't even get rid of me. Well, I'm still here.
But almost like she's so in love with me that she's going to be upset that I'm spending time with her now husband. When in actuality, the funniest thing about it is David doesn't care. Like David is just like, David's not at all thinking, oh, I've got to prove myself to Kody. David is not thinking about them in any other way than, hey, this is your ex. We all need to get along. Yeah, sure. I'll go on a trip with him.
Right. No, he's just trying to, go along to get along. Kody has all other kind of dirty thoughts about this. And, he says he's still not talking to Christine. And, but then Suki tells him that, actually, Christine does want to, fix this. And that's when she tells him about the guy's trip. Or says David, I think Suki told David about this guy's trip. And that's when David was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And then, Kody again has to say, well, maybe not, because Christine is very undermining. So I don't think so. I mean, he's just all over the place.
Yeah.
All over the place. Like,
so
he's on, this just almost feels like an attack on Christine.
Yeah.
That she started this. Because she did. She did
because she left him.
This exodus.
She kicked him out of the house. She kicked him out and he had nowhere to go.
She put his books in the garage. All three of them.
Well, so we can go back. Let's talk about Robyn and Kody together because so we hear this thing where they're talking about Janelle is mad because feeling like Kody is always favoring Robyn. And so Sukanya asks Robyn, do you feel like you're the sacred cow? And Robyn says, moo.
And I thought that was
whatever. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Like, she doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't people shouldn't, this shouldn't be a thing. You shouldn't care. And this is what bugs me about this Robyn situation, that where we are right now, which is this. You are changing your story now too, Robyn.
Mm-hmm.
Before, you were all about polygamy, the family. I'm not here to disrupt anything, blah, 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 blah. So, and you've lectured us over and over again and told us how important it is, the sister-wife relationship amongst the sister wives, how important that relationship is, that you have to support each other. And this is your response to that. Like, you have another sister wife that you claim I don't know, a year ago wanted Kody to make it work with Janelle.
Yeah.
And now you were directly asked a question about this. That's your response. It's to be dismissive, to be rude, and to pretend like it doesn't exist. And this attitude of like, well, you shouldn't care. You shouldn't care. Don't pay attention. I'm like, bitch, I'm sorry, but this is not how you spoke many years ago, or even 2 or 3 years ago, that it doesn't matter what Janelle thinks.
Yeah, even just the last season. I mean,
Psych Legal Pop, we'll be back after these messages.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, something strange has happened to Robyn. She went from, all of her fake crying, not being able to get through one of these interviews without crying, and talking about why can't we all just make it work? And I want this to work. And now she's just like this cool girl, happy-go-lucky. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Her attitude has completely changed. She's like, I wish these people would just stop talking about me. She's just being really cagey. When Suki asked her questions, she said something about, Kody having a bias. And she's like, no, I don't think he has a bias. She's like, I don't know. Why don't you focus on your own relationships without my name coming up? I mean, she's just really rude, really dismissive and rude, and just is clearly taking a certain attitude, laughing. I don't give a shit. It's like night and day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what I thought was so brilliant with Sukanya, I realized I just wrote down brilliant questions, but I didn't write down the questions. But basically, it was when Sukanya asks Robyn about, does Kody have a bias? And, Robyn kind of looks around like, what, huh? I don't know. I don't think so. And she asks her, well, do you feel safe telling Kody anything? And she's like, yeah, I do. And then Sukanya is kind of like, well, so hopefully I'm getting this right, that Sukanya then sort of sets it up where she's like, well, then what about these other relationships? Shouldn't these other wives also feel safe? Like, doesn't that concern you that you're saying you feel safe telling Kody anything, but Janelle is saying there's a topic that Cody's not allowing him, her to speak about. Mm-hmm. And now you're kind of like, she's sort of setting it up of like, well, wait a second. You don't, in terms of polygamy, shouldn't each wife have the right to ask certain questions? She kind of kept, I'm sorry, I should have written them down. I realize that now, but she really sort of set it up where she kind of painted Robyn in a corner, and it felt like the only way to respond was to be like, I don't care. It's okay. I don't care. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Work on those relationships without my name coming up. It's like, bitch, how?
Yeah.
How? Yeah. If you talked so long about how everyone's interwoven with each other, and this is a blah, 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 marriage and family, and there are so many relationships, and there's relationships amongst that, then guess what? Everybody's relationship is concerning to everybody else. Oh, God. It really bugged me.
You're supposed to all be in this relationship together. But no one's supposed to talk about you.
Yeah.
No one's supposed to question anything you do.
And again, I just feel like she, of any of these people, spends most of the time in the comment section. She and Kody very much know what the sentiment is about them on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So they are very aware of how people feel and what they're saying. And this is Robyn's new tactic. It's her new thing. Well, I'm just going to be super cool. I'm going to be cool, Robyn. And maybe then people will like me.
Yeah. People don't like it when I cry. So
yeah, I'm going to stop crying.
I'm going to stop doing that because I'm tired of hearing about that.
It's so ridiculous because it's like, no, people don't like you because the two of you aren't authentic. If you actually were authentic, and I mean, this is the part that the path of least resistance would be if Robyn said, yeah, you know what? He did favor me. He did. He favored me. He felt these things about me. We fell in love. It felt like, why can't you own? Like, it felt good. Mm-hmm. It felt good to be the favorite. It felt good. And yeah, I'll be honest, but she can't. She won't.
Yeah. Yeah. And then at the very end of the episode, Suki asks her if she would ever, be in a plural marriage again. And she says, well, if I had a guarantee, which that's the dumbest thing to say. None of this comes with a guarantee. She says, yeah, I'd probably be open to it, which is bullshit. I mean, I don't believe that for a minute. But what is this? If I had a guarantee, who says that?
Because again, she's making herself the victim. I've been hurt. I've been victimized. So if there's a guarantee I won't get hurt again, then, yeah, but it makes no sense. But so if we're talking about, so the next thing that happens is we see this is the beginning where Janelle's talking about her relationship with Kody. And Kody basically dismisses everything that Janelle's saying. And he's like, well, via con Dios, Janelle, I don't care. And he's just like, well, I don't care what broke us up. It doesn't matter. I don't care. And so Kanye's like, well, hold on a second. Shouldn't you, just as a person in this world, look at your past relationship to better understand yourself and figure out how do you make your future relationships better? Don't you want to do that? And it's like, no, he doesn't. Because via con Dios.
He doesn't think he did anything wrong. He's the victim.
But the thing is especially when it comes to Janelle, he cannot admit she didn't want me.
Yeah.
Because that is really the truth. I did something that hurt her so deeply that she didn't want me anymore.
Mm-hmm. And there was nothing he could do.
And there's nothing he could do.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Sukanya wants to show him the scene from Josephine's, and he's like, he just keeps wanting to shut it down because it makes you look kind of like a loser that you are. Mm-hmm. And he wants to shut it down, and this is where Sukanya calls him a baby. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're going to be a baby about it, we're adults having a conversation. I'm just trying to talk to you about this. Guess what, Kody? When you sign the contract, you know what this is. It's to rehash the past. So you can't come in here and say, I don't want to rehash the past. This is a job.
Yeah.
This is a job.
Your show. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was on a roller coaster in this episode. Like there was that scene you just described where he was real worked up and, tells Suki, I'm going to shut you down right here. He had these really angry moments. And then he had these other waxing poetic moments. Like, okay, so I wrote this down. He said, no one is going to gaslight me. Wait. I don't even know what this sentence means.
No, I remember this. Hold on.
Can't even interpret.
Trying to find it. It's farther in the episode.
He's the one who, this was like when before they start talking about David and Kody meeting. Mm-hmm. Something about gaslighting and then a bias. It was a nonsensical.
Oh God, the bias thing. Yes, I want to talk about that.
It was nonsensical, but yeah, so he has these hostile moments. Then, I just really thought that how he talked about David was so weird. It was almost like a bromance. Mm-hmm. He says he was nervous about being in the presence of Christine and some of their kids again. Mm-hmm. And the intimidation of a potentially overwhelmingly handsome individual.
Yes.
Yeah. He's worried he's going to be better looking than him.
Which tells you so much.
Yes.
About how he sees himself and how he wants to be.
Yeah.
Like these two, Robyn and Kody, are the biggest star fuckers of all of them. I'm sorry, excuse me, but they really are. They are the ones that are so concerned about how they look.
Oh, yeah. No, they're perfect for each other. Mm-hmm. Then he says, but it was pleasant. She was into him. I thought it was great. If we could have handled it, it would have been better over a dinner, like just to get to know him. But he and Christine had not spoken in like 2 years. So, yeah, he seems to like David. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what he thought, because David was nice. And he even mentioned that David wanted him to make sure he knew that, he was a father, he was a grandfather, he was a family man. He cared about Christine's kids and Kody's kids. And, he's trying to reassure him. And I thought David did a really good job. If you only have a few minutes in FaceTime with Kody, he got it out and obviously won Kody over.
Yeah, but I also don't even feel like David, I can believe that David, as a father himself, was thinking in the back of his mind, like, I want to reassure this person. But I can't remember, was it McKelty or was it Christine who said, it was McKelty who said, David took care of the twins while we got a manicure, when we got pedicures. So it was McKelty that was offering that up. Like David wasn't saying, I watch your kid. Yeah, he's not. He was just talking. He was like, oh yeah, we did this, we did that. And I don't know why Kody cannot live in the margins. He cannot live in the gray. He can't. So I hate Christine. I love David.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit like, he can't be like, I wish the best for Christine. We're not in a good place. I really like David. Let's move on. Right. There was this other thing in the beginning of the episode where after Sukanya calls him a baby, he says, well, it's time to move on. And then he speaks directly to the camera and he apologizes to the ladies. Now, it was the worst apology ever. It was like, I'm sorry that things didn't work out and I loved you, but now we don't love each other anymore. And, I'm sorry that things are blah, 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 blah. And he's like, good enough? Do you remember that? Like his attitude. And Sukanya's like, well, at least you took some accountability. Like, she's just kind of like, well, yeah, that's nice. Like, you finally said something nice. All of it. Yeah.
There was a couple times where I thought he was getting choked up. You thought it was more like he was just in a standoff with Suki. But there were a couple times where it felt like he was choking up. He couldn't speak anymore. And I don't know what that was. Maybe he was just trying to send a message. I'm not going to talk about this. So I'll just sit here and say nothing. And she's just kind of like, well, what's your problem? Like, there was a lot of, quite a bit of tension there, but yeah, she was not going to just let him slide. Yeah, I thought this was he was particularly strange.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. Okay, so let's talk about this bias thing because again, Kody, you get something wrong. So his whole thing was people are going to come at me with their biases, but you are already biased. I'm pointing this out to you. Okay. So basically he's saying people are already biased against me. That's what that's his foundation. People are biased against me. So it doesn't matter what I say or do, that bias isn't going to go away. So even if I'm pointing something out, people are always going to see it as you are wrong. We will never agree. We will never reconcile about exactly why we broke up. And it's interesting because he's sort of talking about two different things, right? Part of it is, I can't reconcile with these women because we all have different versions of why we're not together anymore. But he's also talking about these, you're going to come at me with your biases. Well, are you talking about the audience's biases?
Yeah, that's
like the world's biases? Because I feel like that's what it is. And what he's saying is that he doesn't even understand what bias is. Okay? Kody, yes, people are going to come to you with your biases because everyone's biased. Everyone has their biases. Everyone has their preconceived feelings and notions based on something. So you are not being persecuted because people are biased against you. People are biased against everybody. So it's not you. You're not special again. And that the feeling is that no matter what, you're going to be biased against me and you're going to think what I'm doing is wrong. It's like, he's already setting it up where I'm not doing anything wrong. It's the biases. It's people's perceptions, incorrect perceptions of me that are wrong. But it's like, no. He's giving no credence at all to, well, we've been watching you for 19 seasons now. I feel like we've seen you in lots of different ways and different things. These are our perceptions. This is how we see it. It's back to his ego cannot handle people not liking him. So it's not his fault. It's your fault because you're biased.
Wow. Whew. That's quite a justification in his mind.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you took it a different way, but that's how I saw it.
No, I don't know what he's saying when he said like all that. I don't know. I mean, when he starts talking about biases, I immediately jump to like the world, the audience is biased against me. And that's why, I have to come on this program here and defend myself and, cause this is,
because you're wrong. You're wrong. So, and again, if you are a happy, secure person like David, if you're happy and secure, you don't give a shit what people think of you because you know because your sense of self is aligned with how you project yourself out to be. You're not thinking about how you're coming across because you are being authentic to who you are. But it's Kody and Robyn that constantly are thinking about how we're coming across because because in the back of your minds, you're morphing your thoughts and feelings. None of this is authentic.
Yeah.
You know it. So this is why the two of you have to cover it. But that whole bias thing, you come in with your bias, it's like, you don't even understand what bias means.
No.
Like, that's not how it works. Ugh,
yeah.
So annoying.
Another thing I forgot to say about Robyn was that, she, I guess, refuses to watch these clips.
Yes.
Because Suki asks her, well, why won't you watch the clips? Maybe this was last week.
This was last week, yeah. Okay. We can talk about it again.
But I feel like when there were a couple points in this episode where they put like a pic of the box, picture box inside the picture of the clip playing and then Robyn's reaction. And she was obviously reacting to it in real time. I think she was watching it or at least listening to it or something. And I forget which clip it was. I think it was someone talking about her. I can't remember if it was like Christine or Janelle talking about her. And you could see the look on her face. I think it was the sacred cow thing. So when Janelle said the sacred cow, she had kind of this weird look on her face. She obviously had just heard that. She has a weird look on her face. And then she kind of looks over in the corner a little bit, like she's looking at somebody.
Was it Kody?
I think he might have been in the room to protect her.
Yeah. Because it's not safe. Sukanya's not safe.
Sukanya's not safe. No. So she kind of looks over and then she looks back. And then she kind of like is trying to hold her tongue to keep from, laughing or making a face or something. And it's like, oh my God, like she's just such drama.
Yeah.
First it's like, oh, I can't even watch. Okay. Well, someone then I think forced her to watch. And then she can't even keep a straight face.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Because I don't know about you, but when I watch reality shows, I always go to this place of, would I ever be on a reality show? Like, what would I do? And I think I would say yes, because I'm kind of a whore. But because I like Kody, attention. But for me, the hardest thing would be is listening or watching myself. I do not listen to our podcast. I do not watch anything that I like. I have such a hard time watching myself, but I know that would be something I would have to do. That is this is what irritates me is you're not doing your jobs. If you're going to get paid to be on this reality show, part of it is that you have to talk certain things to death. You have to look at yourself. You have to watch yourself on camera. You have to be, you have to be willing to do all of that. And it just bugs me so much that Robyn, every step of the way is like, no, I'm not going to do it here. I'm not going to do it there. And then this is one of the things that she talked about when they were talking about the interaction when Kody and David met. And, Robyn says something about, well, this is how it goes in divorce. Like, you want them to stay away, but, you share kids. And so, you have to figure out how to get along. I'm like,
what?
This is how it goes in divorce? Who are you? Again, now we're back to this. This is how it goes in divorce. So dismissive. Like, hey, this is how it goes in divorce. I'm sorry. What do you know about,
Right.
So you're an expert of polygamy and now divorce.
And co-parenting. Yeah.
Yes. And co-parenting after divorce, because you did such a great job co-parenting. You took those kids away from him.
You took them away from their father physically and then had his, got him to agree to terminate his parental rights. Yeah. Great job, Robyn. Great job.
But I love the way she speaks of like, well, this is how it is in the world of divorce.
Yeah. She knows it all.
And then both of them had to point out, because I think David said that Kody went red. He went red a little bit. They both had to make sure that Kody wasn't red. Cody's always red, or Kody, no, I'm not red. Like I could not possibly be embarrassed or be intimidated by David or this situation.
Even though you just told us you were afraid of some impossibly handsome, overwhelmingly handsome man being, that's what you were going to walk into with David. Oh, but no, I'm not nervous. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not nothing. Yeah. And all you had to do is watch the video. Robyn and Kody are standing, holding the babies, just nervously rocking them. They are so uncomfortable. They are so nervous. David and Christine are just, cool as a cucumber, just making conversation, making small talk. And Christine's like, oh, this is my boyfriend, David. She's thrilled. She's so happy.
Yeah.
I mean, no, they can't ever show any kind of weakness. They can never be wrong. These two. And they deserve each other.
Yeah, they do. And this was at the very end. This got under my skin. Was Sukanya's just trying to do her goddamn job, okay? And she's just trying to ask these questions. I mean, listen, Kody, I'm sorry that you don't like these questions that she's asking you. She's not the producer of the show. Someone gave them to her. She's doing her job. And she's trying to have this conversation with him about, can't you just meet Christine where she's at? And he just decides, like a sullen teenager, he decides to give her the silent treatment, which is a very, very classic behavior of narcissists and other fuckboy people. Like this is a classic, I'm going to ice you out and not tell you anything. And I'm going to make you guess. And I'm going to do that. But the way he was staring her down, listen, I've talked about this a bit. I've worked in drug and alcohol treatment centers. I have had to be in these moments where I've been stared down by some big guy, and you just got to stare right back and be like, you're not getting, I'm sorry you're in this drug and alcohol treatment program. I'm sorry your life is falling apart. I didn't cause it. So, but it's the power, right? What I found was that there's this, like, people want to get into these power dynamics with you of like, blaming you for everything. And you're like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've had those moments of being stared down, and I felt for Sukanya. It's just like, dear God, she's just like, I can keep staring at you too. Think she's not afraid of him.
No.
He's like, well, there's nothing left to say. I'm like, dude, we've got 2 more episodes here. Yes, there is more to say.
God. Well, what are we going to talk about next? I feel like,
they've got to talk about Garrison, right? Or
no, they said in the beginning, before the very first tell-all, there was a black screen said that the family is not going to talk about Garrison.
Oh, okay. Which I understand. I could understand that one.
So I think next week from the previews, it looks like it's going to be talking about Coyote Pass.
Oh, yes. Yes. Coyote Pass.
And then after that, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what the 4th episode is going to be. I feel like, I'm kind of done.
Yeah. What else is there to talk about besides Coyote Pass?
I mean, I don't know if I don't know when this was filmed or if we're going to.
It was October.
Remember? Okay. So October.
Yeah.
So Janelle's been in North Carolina for a while. Maybe she'll talk about what she's doing there. I'm sure David and Christine will talk about their Airbnb.
Yes, their big business. Yes. Well, Christine's doing this all by herself.
Yeah, and
right?
Meri,
She's the one running it. Yeah.
Yeah, Meri. I don't know if she'll talk about whatever she's doing. I don't know. I don't know what Kody and Robyn are going to talk about. Their new house. That
Oh, God. Good luck.
I don't know.
Good luck. Oh, God. Yeah, I know. At the end of this, I was just like, I don't know how much more Kody I can take. This guy is exhausting. Can you imagine him? I mean, no wonder these women needed him in small doses. This guy is exhausting. He's utterly exhausting.
Yeah. He's just high one minute, low the next, angry, happy, angry. I mean,
and I think that Robyn loves this. Robyn loves, she just, some people, they will claim to you they hate it, but they continue to look for and find people that are going to create drama. So,
but he's not like this with her. I mean, I know he was really bad, during the breakups, and she talked about that, how, he took a lot of stuff out on her, and she was kind of like, I don't know if I can live with this. But as soon as he got over that, well, I don't think he's really over it. But when things got better, you see their flirty scenes now, the scene where he's like licking, the licking, so much licking, just like that. There was too much licking.
No more 50-year-old men licking things, please.
I know. What is happening? Anyway, so you see how they're, how they can be together and how they were when they went up to Wyoming, I don't know.
I think it's all really I think it's all performative, and I think that he is difficult at home. And I think that, I don't know, I think she likes that.
Okay.
Anywho, right. So, oh God, 2 more episodes, 2 more episodes. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Kody just, imagine being married to Kody for 30 years. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. As we mentioned, we are covering, and just like that, we are, we still have our Thursdays, documentaries that we're doing. This week, we're doing the Sherry Papini documentary. So please go check those things out. If you haven't already, please subscribe and give us a 5-star rating and review. We are on YouTube. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Very exciting. I know I move around a lot, but sorry, I'm trying. But we're on YouTube now, so go check us out on YouTube. The episodes from now on will be full. You can see us talking right here, full video. What else? So if you want more of us, please go check out our Patreon. You get ad free. We do a weekly bonus. And then for our higher tier, we have some extras. Ask Us Anything in true crime, monthly true crime. I think that's it. We're on all the social medias, Psych Legal Pop. So please, spread the word, tell a friend, all that good stuff. And
we have a whole, if you like Sister Wives, if you're into Sister Wives, we have a whole back catalog of,
yes.
We started from the very beginning, season 1, episode 1, and we've kind of stopped and started as these other episodes. Because we started covering it, what was it, season 16 or 17?
17. We started because it was 17 that we started covering. And then we went back and did a rewind, and we got up to 9, episode 9,
so
season 9 or 10.
There's a gap between 9 and 16 because we have to go back
there yet.
Because when the regular season is on, we don't do the rewinds. Anyway, there's plenty.
Yes,
there's plenty of shows there if you want to go back and watch, listen to those.
Yes, yes. Well, I don't know what else to say except for via con Dios.
Via con Dios.
In the words of Kody Brown and how he ends his marriage. Via con Dios, bitch. Janelle, you Teflon queen.
Yeah.
Why don't you love me? Why don't you love me? But I don't love her. I never loved her. Why doesn't she love me? Right?
Slam the door.
Yes, but yes.
Goodbye.
Via con Dios, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax days year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
You do it all. So why not get all the electrolytes? Hydrate better than water with new Gatorade Lower Sugar. Now with no artificial flavors, sweeteners, or colors, and 75% less sugar than regular Gatorade. New to the fridge, all the Gatorade electrolytes you love. Gatorade Lower Sugar. Is it in you? Now available nationwide.